Hello, my name is Jeff Voss. I'm a retired agriculture educator from Jackson County Central in Southwest Minnesota. And the Minnesota State alumni decided that we should maybe put a video out there that could help other alumni chapters maybe start understanding how they could help their local advisor or advisors. And one of those ways is maybe taking a career development event or a leadership development event and coaching that for the local chapter. And so with that, the one thing I would say before you dive into that is make sure you talk to your local advisor and make sure that they want that help. I just want to remind people that the alumni is there to support the local advisor or advisors. It's not to run the program. And so make sure you talk to your local advisor before you start in. The other thing that I would suggest is that you go talk to once your advisor says, okay, let's do that. Let's go in and talk to your local administration and make sure that you understand what the rules are for working with students. What does the school expect? Are there any policies, anything I need to sign? Do I need a background check? All those kind of administrative rules. And there's one other thing I would suggest too. I'm going to share my screen here. So I would go to just ffa.org, and we're going to have the hyperlinks there too. And they'll take you right directly to this, but in case you don't know where they're at, this is a slick way to do it. You can search just about anything you want, but there's a publication inside of this National FFA. It's called Youth Protection Guide. And so I would look at that, load that up. So we'll search for it. It's right here. I'll make sure it's loading for you so I don't go too quick here. So the National FFA Youth Protection Guidelines is just to help protect you as a volunteer, to protect the students and protect the advisor in their chapter. So here's some things that National put out there. I think it's really some good stuff to go read through. What are proper expectations, physical contact, personal space. If you're transporting youth, make sure again that you talk to your administration about transporting. Each school seems to be a little different. Each state seems to be a little different on their rules that way. Use of alcoholic beverage, curb your personal biases. So you can read all those. I won't read them all, but very quick read, but very informative. And I would highly suggest that you read through that before you get started working with the CDE team. All right, so you've talked to your advisor, you've talked to the admin, you've read this document. What are some of the CDEs and LDEs that are possible that you could help your local chapter with? So how to find them is you just go to, I never remember the link. So I just type in Minnesota FFA, and that's pretty easy. It's www.minnesotaffa.org and click on that. And again, there's lots of resources here. But you go to participate and you go down to a career and leadership development event. So then once you click on that, you will see that there are these 3 red boxes, and they're going to list, split them into different groups. The difference between these is that this is more of probably a team activity. These are more individual, although parliamentary procedure would be considered in the LDE, but these are more speaking type items, and these are more the typical competitions that you hear. So under career development events, you've got all these listed. So as an ag teacher, you're looking at that and going, holy cow, how am I going to get to all of those? And there's just no way. So to have your local alumni helping out, that would be a huge, if they're willing to accept your help. And then in the leadership development, there's a listing of ones that you can help with there. And then here are 3 that don't really fit in either, and 3 other events that you could help with. So I'm going to go up here and just pick one and just kind of walk you through how different things you can find out. Let's say we want to do an ag sales team. So click on that, and this will give you a description right here of what the students have to do in that competition. Now, with all of these, off on the side, they're going to have the event rules right there. And that is really important to read through them, because those event rules are going to show you exactly what they're expecting the students to know at the competitions. So, and I'm just going to go through, for example, in this one, this year's sale, they're only selling cat food. There's no other thing that they would be expected to sell. They used to, in the ag sales, each student, they're made up of 4 people, would sell a different item, but now they changed the format. Everybody sells the same thing. So everybody's selling cat food. There's a written exam, and it talks about what's in there. There's a team activity, and it'll describe what you have to do in that area. And then there's an individual sales activity. And again, there's a description. So if you look at this, and they'll even tell you how it's scored. So the written exam per individual is 100 points. If you have 4 members, take that times 4, it's 400 possible points there. The individual sales of the cat food is 600, and then there's a team activity of 150. So some references if you need ideas of how to go about or to get material to answer questions about the multiple choice test, they're right there. And the other thing I would strongly suggest is that if you are going to coach this and they provide a rubric like this, what are they looking for from the students? And so that way that'll help you know how to coach those students, because you want to make sure that they do these things so they can get their maximum points. So definitely look at the rubrics. And the other thing I would tell you too is when you first look at this, it seems overwhelming and it's like, holy cow, how am I going to ever be able to do this? But it's, you just do one little part at a practice, and don't try to do all of it at one time. For example, if you look at the ag mechanics, that ag mechanics competition lasts almost 3 hours. Like kids are competing individually for 3 hours. So if you try to cover all that information in the first practice, you'll lose students. They won't show back up. So just do little bites at a time. And more of the rubric. And so that shows you what's going on there. The other thing that's kind of neat that they show you is they'll show you which Scantron they're going to use to score with. So up here in the team name, it's good to go over this with the students so that they're not, you don't want them nervous before they even start and get frazzled. So just talk about how the Scantron works. Team name would be their chapter. The team number, your local advisor will know that each chapter has their own team number, filling out their name. And then after that, when they go to the competition, they'll tell them which boxes are going to be used for what item, but at least they've seen one. Obviously, you're going to need number 2 pencils. They aren't provided, so make sure you have that. If you need a calculator for your competition, make sure you bring that. But it's a good thing to go over with your students. And then here again is in this category, they give you specifically what cat food they want you to sell. So you can just use these hyperlinks and it'll take you out and you know exactly these are the 5 that they're going to have to know. So it lays it out pretty well for you if you just go through and read the rules. There's another thing you can do. If you scroll down just a little bit further at this page, they'll show you then past examples of all the different CDEs. And let's go down to ag sales. And so, like, if you wanted to see last year's state multiple choice test, you can click on that. And I would use this when I was coaching for my students. We would print these out, and just how I did it, you can do it however you want, but I would make them, all the students individually. I give them 5 minutes to answer those first 7 questions. And then we go back through and talk about each answer. I don't think it does a lot of good just to go, number 1 is A, 2 is B, because they don't hear the answer. So I think it's good to talk about it and look at the answers. Oh, and the answer keys are at the end. So it's up to you if you want to just share these, print these out, the students make them work on their own. You can do it however you want. So that's kind of cool. They do show you all the past examples in that category. Again, we have a hyperlink for that, so that works well. The last little tip a couple of little things I would suggest is when you go to the competition, stay afterwards. Right away, right afterwards, try to get in and go through it. The first couple times that I always took a team and never competed before, we didn't do very well, but we learned. And that's ultimately, putting trophies on the wall is nice, but these are career development events. You're exposing kids to opportunities to get out there, to learn how the industry works, to build up their speaking skills. And so whether you were 8th out of 8th or 1st out of 8th, those students have gained so many skills by just competing. And so don't get wrapped up on just always having to win. But again, go back through the answers. Like in the ag mechanics, they might have all the small engine broke down in parts. So I'd make the kids go back with me, and before they put it away, and say, what'd you call this? What'd you call that? So it's a really good practice, if nothing else. But if you just go and then leave, the students don't have an opportunity to learn much because they don't know what the right answers were. If possible, ask your advisor if there's any invitationals you could go to before they go to their regional qualifier. And make sure you know the dates of when your competition is, so that you know how often to practice. Other than that, if you have any questions, you can contact myself, or you can go out to the contact any of the state alumni leaders. Also ask your advisor if they know of somebody that has a good ag sales team in that area. Most ag teachers out there will help you, give you ideas and help you with that side of it too. So I hope this was informative. And again, if you have any questions, just let us know.